he raised his hand to fix his hair, and for a split second, the reflection did it just a little too early. He laughed it off at first. Just a trick of the light, right? But then the mirror showed him turning away, even though he was still standing right there, frozen. Mirrors are some of the most common objects in our daily lives. We trust them completely. We use them to check our appearance, to confirm we're really there, to ground ourselves in the moment. Psychologists even say mirrors are crucial for our self-recognition and sense of orientation. It's this total reliability that makes stories about mirrors so deeply unsettling when something goes wrong. This particular story takes place in an apartment that could be anywhere in the United States. New construction, neutral colors, standard fixtures, nothing about it felt old or carried any history. The tenant had just moved in, still getting used to the building's personality, the hum of the pipes, the distant chime of the elevator, the soft echo of footsteps in the hall. The mirror was mounted in the bedroom right across from the doorway. It was full-length, frameless, and perfectly clean. It was there when he arrived, and he figured the last tenant must have left it behind. The first strange moment happened late. One evening, he was standing in front of the mirror, distracted, just scrolling on his phone. He shifted his weight from one foot to the other, and the reflection followed him. Almost. It lagged, not enough to be obvious, just a tiny fraction of a second. He told himself it was the lighting, or his eyes were just tired and adjusting. Mirrors don't lag. He stepped closer, and the reflection matched him again, perfectly. Nothing to worry about. But over the next few days, he started noticing more small inconsistencies. His reflection would blink just slightly out of sync with his own eyes. Sometimes its posture seemed subtly corrected, but its shoulders squared more than he remembered standing. He wrote it all off as normal. Perception tricks, the kind of thing your brain does when you're tired or stressed. Then one night, the mirror showed him something new. He walked into his bedroom, paused in the doorway, and looked up. The reflection was already inside the room. It stood a full step ahead of where he was, facing the mirror, as if he had already crossed the threshold. The moment lasted less than a second before the reflection snapped back into perfect alignment with his own body. He felt a chill run down his spine. He deliberately stepped forward, and the reflection matched him perfectly. Rational explanations flooded his mind. Memory lag, eye strain, simple stress. But he started avoiding the mirror anyway. Of course, avoidance didn't help. One evening, he passed the bedroom without turning on the light. In the dim glow from the hallway, the mirror caught his faint reflection. In it, he saw himself walking away from the room, his back turned, his shoulders receding into the darkness, but he was standing completely still. He quickly flipped the light switch. The mirror was normal again, showing only his own startled expression. That was enough. He covered the mirror with a heavy towel. That night, he had a strange dream about leaving his apartment. He wasn't walking, but drifting, as if pulled along by some unseen routine. In the dream, he floated right through the front door while another version of him stayed behind, just watching. But dreams aren't evidence. The next morning, the towel he had draped over the mirror was lying folded neatly on his bed. He lived alone. He decided to test the mirrors scientifically. He set up his phone and recorded a video of himself making small movements in front of it. He watched the playback frame by frame. There was nothing unusual. The reflection matched him perfectly, no delay. No anticipation, nothing. But the feeling wouldn't go away. The sense that he wasn't alone. Late one night, exhausted and frustrated, he stood before the mirror and spoke out loud. He was half joking, half serious. If you're going to do something, he said, just do it. The reflection smiled. He had not. The smile was subtle, brief, and gone almost instantly. But it was not his expression. He took a sharp step back. The reflection took a step forward. Not big, dramatic lunge, just enough to close the distance between them. He squeezed his eyes shut. When he opened them, the mirror showed only his own terrified reflection again, perfectly mimicking his posture. He moved out the following week. The mirror remained. The building manager later told him that the mirror was fixed to the wall and couldn't be removed easily. It had been installed during the building's construction. No other tenants had ever complained, at least not formally. This is where the story leaves room for speculation. Psychologists describe a phenomenon called depersonalization, where people feel detached from themselves, almost like they're watching their life from the outside. It's often accompanied by visual distortions, and things like stress and lack of sleep can make it much worse. A mirror, An object that forces self-focus can intensify these feelings. All of these are plausible, rational explanations, but similar stories exist shared quietly, whispered online, stories about mirrors that show actions slightly out of order, reflections that anticipate movements rather than just follow them. In every version of these tales, the mirror doesn't trap or harm anyone, it just suggests departure. An unverified account claims a tenant watched his reflection leave the room entirely, disappearing down a hallway the real person never entered. He moved out that very same night. There's no evidence to support this, of course. What remains is the pure discomfort of the idea itself. A mirror is supposed to confirm your presence, to tell you you are here now. So when it begins to show you leaving before you've even decided to go, it raises a question that no one really wants to answer. Are you just seeing a trick of perception, your tired mind playing games? Or are you being reminded that your presence is temporary, and that sometimes your reflection knows it's time to leave before you do? Thanks for watching.